Oh, hello. I'm Sketch.
And I'm Shades.
And this is
Geeking Out Midstream.
Welcome back, our hardy adventuring companions. Welcome back, Shades.
Welcome back, Sketch.
Another week. They're all blending together.
All under our Mandalorian helmets.
All under our Mandalorian helmets, even when alone. Just to be sure.
Yes. Just to be sure. I only, I don't even see the borders of my visual field anymore.
We've
just
become
grown
very
accustomed to this T-shape.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for joining us for another midstream. Thanks for taking time out of your busy lives right now to just kind of geek out with us. If you are joining us, quote unquote, live, then last week we were talking about Onward. Yeah. The Disney Pixar, almost straight to Disney Plus movie. And Shades, you have any corrections, take backsies, anything at all that you would like to add from last week?
No corrections, no take backsies, but I did, in re-listening, I did kind of set upon, and it didn't occur to me at the time, there was something about this movie that was Goonie-esque to me.
Okay.
And after I had that realization, I forgave many of the things that I was like, I don't know if that didn't resonate with me. Blah, blah. And it was like, once I was able to, and I don't even know what it was so much that felt Goonie to me, but I was like, oh yeah, there was something Goonies about this.
Yeah, no, there certainly was.
Once I had that disassociation, I was more forgiving of the story, and it still didn't resonate with me. Maybe because I grew up solitary and didn't have a sibling. But once I was able to unpack that Freudian revelation, I felt a little bit more warm and fuzzy about that.
Well, let me tell you, I did grow up with siblings, and when the movie's emotional beats really took off for me was not so much the stuff between Ian and Barley, because we already talked about that, how a lot was resting on Ian's shoulders. But when Barley kind of had that breakdown where he talked about the regret of not saying goodbye to his father.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree with that.
Unfortunately,
it was such a small part.
Well, it's a small part of the movie, but I mean, in real life, unfortunately, that's something that we've all experienced, if not yet, unfortunately, at some point. And that's when it got to me. That's when we finally started getting emotionally deep in that movie. Because, it just,
I agree.
Just dredged up memories, like real world memories. And that's Pixar for you.
It is.
That's Pixar for you.
And they do it so well. They tug at the heartstrings.
Yeah. Well, I do have two corrections.
Okay.
Neither of which were about Onward. I stand by everything I said with Onward, including my theory. I still stand by my theory.
Oh my goodness!
My Pixar government theory.
I am convinced. I am 100% convinced that your sketchy theory is a sketchy fact.
Yeah.
A sketchy reality.
We just need more. We just need more to bring more people over to the cause. But big Pixar government is trying. Big Pixar government is trying to take the magic out of the Pixar universe and turn it into our universe.
Absolutely.
I guess that's the root of the sketchy theory. And if you want to hear more, and you hadn't listened to the episode, you got to listen to the episode.
Give it a listen. You got to listen to the episode.
However, the two things I said incorrectly in last week's episode was it's not whatever I said. The Mickey Mouse's. I think I said Mickey's Magic Clubhouse, which God, the toddlers wrote in so much.
You have a lot of email communication with toddlers.
Email.
Toddler email.
It is the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Oh,
The
yes.
Mickey
Okay, but
Mouse
it's just like
Clubhouse.
the current iteration.
Come inside, it's fun inside. And it's there you go. It's that, in case you want to watch that. And the other thing that I need to correct, which is a huge correction, is Gravity Falls is indeed 2 seasons long, as I had originally thought. The issue is on Disney Plus, it must have listed like a 3rd season as like these digital shorts or something like that.
Okay, yeah. So there are a huge amount of digital shorts for Gravity Falls that you can go and watch even if you don't have Disney Plus.
And so because I rectified this because yesterday I ended season 2, and it ends beautifully. What an ending to an animated series. I won't even say an animated series. I'll just say a series.
In general.
What a satisfying ending to Gravity Falls.
That's awesome.
And that's all I'll say about that, because this is not the Gravity Falls episode.
I don't have Disney Plus, but I do have Hulu.
Is it on Hulu?
And the mouse has gifted it to Hulu.
Ooh.
And I think I can watch the shorts free. So if you're game for a Gravity Falls episode,
I'm very game for Gravity Falls episode.
I would watch the shit out of that.
Because it was just so good. Yeah.
It really was. And I don't think I ever saw all of the second season.
I did not. I know I didn't.
When was Gravity Falls? When was that like the Kim Possible era?
It was slightly after the Kim Possible era. It was I think it was when we were fresh out of school. It was like the late 2000s.
Yeah, I didn't have cable or even internet in my apartment. I had nothing. I had a Virgin Mobile USB Wi-Fi that connected to like the Virgin Mobile network that I could plug into my computer, and all I could do with it was send email.
Wow.
And run AIM.
Jeez.
Like, thank God I could run AIM and check my email from home. That's all I could do. And I think it was something ridiculous like, whatever dial-up was way back in the day. I think that's all it connected
good
at.
old dial-up.
And so I did not get to watch much of Gravity Falls. It was, if I was at, whoever's house I was at, or like if I was visiting you, or hanging out with our buddy Tim Hoshi, to be able to watch Gravity Falls.
I highly recommend, even if we don't do an episode, but I'd like to do an episode. But I highly recommend you watch it through to see what happens in season 2, because it all comes together into a cohesive story that has a finite ending.
That's
as
amazing.
Opposed to an episodic kind of summertime romp that you're kind of deposited in the first season.
On.
So, so 2 seasons, totally doable, very watchable. It's still my recommendation.
I stand behind that rec, and I am eager to dive down that Gravity Falls rabbit hole.
Very good.
Cool. I have no take backsies. I don't think I have any corrections. Longtime listeners, write in if I went wildly off the path. We want to hear from you right now, please. Sketch, how are you doing with all of this self-quarantine, real world stuff? Not to make it too much about the real world.
I mean, I'm personally fine. It's an upsetting and stressful time to be alive in the world, but nothing in my like personal life is adding to that. You know what I mean? Like,
that's cool.
I'm sharing with everyone that this is a crazy, hopefully once in a lifetime experience. And there's certainly stresses that go along with it. And there's a certain level of anxiety just by being alive during it. But I have a place to live. We have food on the table. I'm with my family. I don't have anything to complain about in my house. So I'm
That's
taking
awesome.
everything with a grain of salt.
In a similar vein, same on all of those fronts. I'm lucky to have a roof over my head, food on my table, work coming into the studio it's like all of my creature comforts that usually make my routine have been taken from me, and I'm angry all of the time.
Okay, so nothing really's changed.
I'm so glad that we were able to get this in today, because I just needed to laugh. And selfishly on my part, so much of our friendship over the years has been your ability to make me laugh.
Well, it's been the catalyst to the podcast.
It really has.
We see, because I don't want to I don't want to downplay, of course, other people's experience during all of this. But if you have the ability to do those things that you enjoy, that you have always said, I just don't have time. I just don't have time to get to that. It's the silver lining of this situation. If you have the ability, I understand that not everyone has the ability to still get to this or do that, or just have the mental wherewithal to take on a new project. But if you do, it helps if you're going stir crazy.
Yeah, I'm very much going stir crazy, and I'm just waiting for the weather to just be a little bit more forgiving. It's like these beautiful days that are just barely in the 40s.
Yesterday, longtime listeners, we're both in New England, and yesterday, even though it's April, wicked storm blew through my neighborhood, and it sleeted. Like, you looked out the window, and it looked like we had a fresh coat of a small thin coat of powder out there, but it was all sleet.
It was all sleet.
Oh my gosh!
And then it all melted again.
Now it's all gone, but it's still pretty cold. I have been doing a lot of outdoor work. I need the fresh air. I got to get outside every once in a while. And I've been tinkering around with digital art creation, which is been kind of fun. And just spend a lot of time with Doodle and the Missus. Really,
I see you're a little long in the mane there, Sketch, poking out from underneath your Mandalorian.
Oh
helmet.
Yeah, I mean, who knows when the hair will get cut? But
do you know what happened in the midst of all of this?
What?
I don't have at this point. Have you known me with long hair or short hair?
Both.
At this point, but like, what has been longer?
Oh,
like, was it a longer stretch that I had long hair, or a longer stretch that I had short hair?
I feel this is one of those things where time is so relative, because I feel like the long-haired version I've known for longer, but it's because it was longer ago. So like when you say something like, "Oh, Avatar: The Last Airbender came out 20 years ago," you're like, "What the shit? What? That much time has passed?" So if I were to look at a calendar of all of your haircuts, I would probably be surprised to be like, "Oh no, I've known short-haired shades longer than I knew long-haired shades," but it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah, I think that's true. And a weird thing recently happened where now, like, my mental image of myself for the longest time was still like long-haired, bearded shades, like long-haired hippie shades. And my hair like got close to that length again. I've been rocking this like faux hawk thing for a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I can't. I got to come up with something else. Like, I just can't. And so bravely, Elise gave me a haircut.
Oh.
The other day. And it's like,
it looks fine to me. It looks.
Thank you. Right? I was like,
I mean,
that's a brave act.
Dangerous of you to take off your helmet for that, but
I know,
vanity
but,
becomes you, I suppose.
I've always said I am nothing if not vain.
And humble.
And humble,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Both vain and humble. So yeah, I was like, and it was just like, it felt so wonderful to get that weight off of me. It was so it's like, I think the what's the word I'm looking for? Like the action of person in crisis for all time has been giving oneself a haircut. And slowly that is just going to become a fact of life where we're all cutting our own hair.
I do like the memes you see now where it's like person last year watching like a Mad Max or a post-apocalyptic movie being like, this is ridiculous. Why would people look like that in a post-apocalyptic world? And now it's like and like someone holding a razor and half their hair is gone and you're like, oh.
It's like and the joke with Mad Max, and I know we both listened to How Did This Get Made? Manzukis references this all the time. Like in the apocalypse, we're all supposed to be wearing hockey masks and diapers, like living that hashtag diaper life. And a large contingent of the population are just like hanging out in sweatpants and pajamas, and we're pretty close to that. We're getting there. But the silver lining to all of this sketch is that on the other side of the apocalypse, is the utopian future of Star Trek.
That is true. We're just around the corner.
And that's like an old friend of ours, longtime listener Dan, way back from college that we used to live with, reminded me of that.
Yeah. Well, it's right around. I mean, we've already passed Sequest DSV in our timeline.
We have.
We've lived through the DSV years, unfortunately. And now we're in the midst of all the apocalyptic.
This is the absence when Sequest was missing. And like the Macronesian Empire reigns, and then like the dystopian future of 2032 is before us. And then I think Mad Max is somewhere around, like that's what's happening on land, right? During Sequest 2032. And then just on the other side of that is Zephram Cochrane, First Contact. So we're almost there.
Almost there, guys. Hold on a little bit longer.
Just a little bit.
A little bit longer.
Sketch, there's not much in the way of things to report on.
Yeah, that's why we're reporting on our own hygiene this week.
Yeah.
The world is still at a standstill, at least the media world.
I've finished my second watch through of Star Trek Picard, and like, goddamn, just love that show. If they don't get a second season, I'll be okay. But just, oh man, I know you haven't finished it yet, but I just so excited to see where that story
goes. The goal
goes.
for me is to finish it by this weekend because that's when my month of free CBS All Access goes away. So
it's doable, Sketch. The next, you're on episode 6, right? You finished it?
Yes.
Or you're on episode 7 now?
How many episodes are there?
7 through 10. Yeah. There's 10 episodes, and 7 through 10 is just like you cannot start the next episode quickly enough.
Yeah, no, I'm expecting to have no problem getting through it. So I've certainly been enjoying it. I've just been spreading it out and savoring.
Yeah, as well you should. It's definitely worth savoring. But not much else to report, Sketch.
So should we just report next week's?
I think it's let's get to
guys,
it.
We are continuing to geek out with you, of course.
Of course.
We'll be that one radio station still on in like The Walking Dead that's just broadcasting throughout all of time.
Yeah, but I don't like how that ended.
Oh yeah, no.
I don't want to be that radio station.
No, we'll be a different radio station.
Can we be the radio? Can we be like the streamliner on the cliffside?
Sure, we can be that.
Like in oh no, that didn't end well. I was going to say in Eight-Legged Freaks that didn't end well either. Though you ever see that?
Typically, oh yeah, I've seen Eight-Legged Freaks. Eight-Legged Freaks would be a fun one to do sometime for like Halloween or something.
It would. It absolutely would.
I have a funny story with Eight-Legged Freaks too. I'll save it for the Eight-Legged Freaks episode.
Awesome.
All right, next week, Geeking Out with Shades of Sketch, we have
lace up your sneakers, longtime listeners.
We have a special episode. Yes. I would call it a special episode.
Very.
We are going to finally be discussing a property that needs to be discussed and celebrated, like a studio that needs to be celebrated too, for some good decisions on their part. We are going to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog. Of course, the movie that came out, I guess, earlier this year, right? Time is so crazy
November
at this point. No,
November?
it was.
No, it was supposed to come out in November. It came out in February.
The movie which
Valentine's Day. It came out in Oh my God, Sketch, that seems like years ago.
The movie that
goodness,
famously had such fan backlash after the trailer that they went back and reworked
Reanimated Sonic.
And
good on him. That's all I'll say
which
right
is why
now.
it's worth celebrating. It's worth talking about. It's fresh to digital, so while you're at home, whatever you use to get your digital media, it's fresh out there.
I usually I understand the thrift mindset, longtime listeners. In this instance, it might be difficult to do it, but this is one of those rare instances where I say, buy it, buy the Blu-ray, pay, don't just rent this movie, buy this movie, because my goodness, if ever a studio should be rewarded for decisions that were made,
100%,
this is it. You got to support filmmakers and studios that go the extra step and listen to their fans, and not only listen to their fans, but go to the lengths at which they went to deliver.
It took responsibility.
It really
and they were
did.
like, you know what?
And
we hear you. Our bad. Let's fix it.
Yeah.
And did they fix it?
And
you'll have to turn it to the episode. But
I'm just going to say, yes, they did fix it, but I will say no more. This is a movie that I think you should spend the extra bucks on and buy, so that these creators get to create more.
Mm-hmm.
And should we?
I think we should.
Should we? I think we should. Longtime listeners, we are going to be joined by friend of the pod,
birthday boy himself.
We have a very special birthday in the house.
Join us in the hangar bay for sweet cakes and sweet cream. Hot cakes and sweet cream.
Hot cakes and sweet cream. There it is. Friend of the pod, Tim Hoshi, host of the Hidden Histories podcast, will be joining us.
He's got a bit of a history with Sonic the Hedgehog as a property.
The Hedgehog, yeah.
And I know he's excited to discuss it with me. As I'm talking to him last night, I told you that when we discussed recording this episode and we first talked about beaming him aboard the old GoCo for this, I said, he had just watched that movie, and that was only a couple days ago. As I'm talking to him last night, he has seen it an additional 2 times.
Oh my goodness!
He'll have lots to say.
He will have lots to say.
We shall feast upon his knowledge.
Indeed.
And no pressure, Tim Hoshi, as you listen to this.
You better be on your A game, bro.
But so we are going to talk all things Sonic. We got to go fast.
We got to go fast.
And we need a little good news in 2020. And that is
faster. Faster. Faster.
We need some good news in 2020, and the Sonic movie, I think, warrants good news.
Yes, strong agree. And longtime listeners, we thank you so much for sticking with us and being making us part of your COVID-19 survival kit. Last week, we revealed the Geeking Out with Shades and Sketch Kids Club for adults who are still basically children at heart. And we are trying to just give back to you even more. Those of you who are taking the extra step to keep the lights on at the GoCo and becoming one of our patrons. And, all we're hoping to do with our Patreon is make the show cost neutral for us to house our entire back catalog so that you can keep listening. And if we can get 10 new Patreon subscribers, Sketch and I will live stream over on our Patreon our viewing of Cats, which we are both incredibly excited to do. Very excited. So if you are able to, you can support the show for as little as $1, but with an ongoing commitment of 3 months at our $5 Kids Club subscriber tier, you will get everything pictured in the Geeking Out Kids Club membership kit and sketch. My goodness, you outdid yourself with that membership card.
Outdid myself in all components.
Blockbuster Video meets movie ticket meets Sequest DSV.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Did I miss anything? Anything there? It looked like the Sequest lettering font was in there.
It's just a fun little mesh, a little meld.
It gave me a wonderful chuckle.
I was trying to capture the sensation of listening to our wonderful show, and it sounds like I
would
did.
say you did. So sounds like I would agree. So, longtime listeners, thank you so much for continuing to write in, and at the time of recording, few messages just came in, and we will get to those next midstream. But keep writing in, keep tweeting, keep sending us messages on Facebook. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to continue this conversation with you. And Sketch, thanks for potting with me today.
Of course.
And really looking forward to diving into or going through the warp ring too.
Speedrunning
Sonic
into
the Hedgehog. Speedrunning, yes. Yeah. Oh, you know what would be a great mashup? If Sonic the Hedgehog went into the ring and round up in the Speed Force.
Oh yeah.
It
would be fun. Maybe we'll get that.
Is he a speedster? Maybe we will. Who owns Sonic?
Sega does.
It's Nintendo. Nintendo. Who owns their movie rights?
We'll talk about it, but this movie was a Sega film specifically.
That's right.
Yeah,
it was.
Which is really cool.
That is really cool.
But we're going to talk about it. Guys. We'll get there.
Guys. Well, yeah.
We're going to get there.
And we'll see you next time.
Guys.